Welcome viewers to our program today. I have a special guest with us here today to share with us on online education. Welcome to our program this morning.
Thank you.
And please share a little bit about yourself. Who are you?
I'm Safary Wa-Mbaleka. I'm here, it's been since 2019. I'm working at AUA, Adventist University of Africa. And yes, I'm working there for online education specifically. Yeah.
So your work at AUA is online education, but what is online education?
Online education, really, it is more of learning that happens without students and teachers being in one place. It happens through the internet, and now that the internet is all over the world, people can study in different countries without having to see each other in the same place at the same time. So we use the internet to connect with the computers for people to be able to study.
Now, what needs to be done to make sure online education is quality and it's something that people can really say, wow, I can still do online education?
Well, that is quite a big question because, you know, a mistake that people make when they want to open online education programs, for example, they will think that, we'll just send you some articles and that's it. And then you just read and that's it. You have learned. But it's a whole different system. It's a different mindset. I would say, first of all, we need expertise on how online education works. So therefore, we need a leader who is trained in online education. Just like somebody who teaches math needs to learn the math, the one who leads online education needs to study how online education takes place. Because with that person, then there will be a way to generate a vision that will lead the quality, to strengthen the quality of online education. We need, of course, a technology, computers for the teachers, for the professors, if it's a college or university. We need internet connection, of course, that would be for the teachers and the students. We need a library, that is electronic library, obviously, because the students will not come on campus. This is, again, more for college and university, because maybe for primary and secondary school, they may just have everything online in the classes. But for college and university, we really need heavy databases for books and journal articles. We need systems for registration. Online registration, systems for online advising, systems for online finance, because students will have to pay online electronically. And of course, it comes with the training. We need training for the teachers and training for the students. We need to teach students how to study online and teach teachers how to prepare online courses and how to teach online. And when we are in an Adventist school, we need to take integration of faith and learning online because face-to-face, probably we have already that because integration of faith and learning has been around for a long time. But online, how do we do it online? How do we design online courses in such a way that they will reflect Jesus, that they will nurture the faith of our students? So these are some of the things that have to take place. In addition, one more element that I almost forgot is the accreditation. Because we need accreditation, just like face-to-face programs. So we need accreditation for the online programs. So we have to go through IBE, International Board of Education, for most of the programs, and the others, if for university, for those who are in theology, we have International Board of Ministerial and Theological Education. IBMTE, yeah, that's a long one. We need that one for the classes that will be taught in the seminary. we cannot offer them without getting that quality checked by the experts in the field.
Wow, it sounds so complex and so heavy. But what has the Adventist University of Africa done so far in preparing for online education?
Yes, yeah, I didn't say this to scare our viewers, but it's a complex process, but it's doable. The good thing is that now internet is growing all over the world, and so and with people getting more and more busy that they cannot easily travel to another place and so on, online education is really an excellent option. But for quality, we need to do all that. The good thing is that just like when we started a school, you know, it takes time. It takes time to build the infrastructures, to build the school, the classrooms, and buy the chairs and so on. The same thing that will happen online. And so what have we been doing at AUA? A lot has happened. We basically started working on it, I will say, on a systematic way. In a systematic way, we started working on it in 2019. So what we started was purchasing the infrastructures for IT because we need strong internet. So the university made sure that internet was boosted, that the servers were working, because all these courses will be running on servers and the cloud, as they call it. And so they made sure that infrastructure was in place. Then I was called in. I was not here yet. I was flown in to give a training, 2 weeks training to the teachers, specifically on how to design. What is online and how does it happen? How do we prepare for that? So we had a 2 weeks intensive training on how to design courses, what to expect on online, and what to expect in an Adventist online class. And then from there, we started designing the courses. We prepared the curriculum, and they were submitted to the accreditation body of the Adventist Church. And right now we are expecting also the accreditation of the Kenyan government. In the meantime, we have been designing the courses. So we have designed the guidelines, the policies, making sure that when we finally ask students to come in, everything will be ready. Whatever they need, it'll be there. This year in 2020, the university invested also in a two powerful online databases for the library, so that students have access to books, quality electronic books, and journal articles. And this will continue. We have another training coming up where now the faculty will learn how to teach online, because what they learned before was how to prepare online courses. But now it will be on how to teach online in a Christian way, in an Adventist environment. We have designed the training for the students so that when they come, the very first course they will take will be orientation to online learning, so that they are taught not only about the technology, because it's not only the technology, but also how to study online. What are the strategies? What are the best practices to be a successful online learner? And so that's more or less where we are at this point.
That's so fascinating. What training do you need to do to be able to set up all these things? What have you done to make sure you're able to train others to teach online, to set up systems online?
Me
Yes.
Personally? Well, first of all, this was something like a passion to me when online education was starting. I was studying in Arizona. The university wanted some volunteers to get started with online. They wanted to start online. That was the early days, 2003. And they just came, they said, hey, doctoral students, do you have anybody who's interested in online? You know, we can pay you something. I said, well, I'm a student and I can definitely benefit from some extra cash. So I started getting some little training here and there. And I started teaching online in 2004. And the more I taught online, the more I got excited about it, that I decided to eventually get a doctorate in online education. The whole doctorate was online, and it was about online education. And so, the moment we talk about online, everything just pops up, and I know exactly, more or less, I know exactly what will be needed, different people, what they will need, the staff, the finance people, the library people, the student advisor, admissions, the faculty, the teachers, the administrators, what do they need? And the IT, that one is less orientation, because it's more just a technical thing. And when finally everything comes out, it's in just one unit, like everybody was working together, but it's just different pieces put together like a puzzle.
That's really fantastic that you've not only experienced it, you've learned how to do it. Now, when can students take these online courses at the Adventist University of Africa?
Well, we have actually good news. We are starting offering certification programs in online, about online education, starting June 15, 2020. So June 15, 2020, people can already start taking classes with us online. But for the academic ones, we have a Master's of Public Health that will be fully online. It was approved by the accreditation body of the General Conference, the Adventist. And Masters of Arts in Pastoral Theology. Those two will be fully academic online programs. We got already the approval from the General Conference accreditation, but we are waiting for the Kenyan government to get those approved. As soon as they are approved, if they get approved today, the next day, we are ready. We are ready to start the next day. So that's the only thing we're waiting for. And it was, they are taking a little longer because of this COVID-19. With a lot of things are happening, but we receive communication from them that is something that they are looking into in the near future. So as soon as we get the approval, we are ready to go.
Wow, that's great that you are already preparing to start in a few days. Now, what is the Adventist University of Africa doing to promote online education?
There's a lot that we're doing, really. We have communicated with our divisions through our Vice Chancellor. We have communicated with different divisions here in Africa to let them know the programs that we are preparing for online, so that those who cannot manage to come here on campus can study online. The other thing that we have done is something that we started in May 2020, was to start webinars. These webinars were prepared primarily for our divisions, the 3 divisions here in Africa, but because we send the information out electronically and the people start sharing with each other, every week we're having people attending from 9 divisions around the world. Coming from the largest number we have seen was 35 countries represented in the webinar. Just 1 hour every Monday at 3 p.m. And so this has sent the message, and we have a lot of our colleagues, educators here in Africa who are attending, that is sending the message that we are really serious about this online education. And we want to share the expertise, the knowledge that we have. So every Monday they have one topic that people are attending and learning how to design online courses, how to teach online, the definition, the importance of online. The other thing that we are doing right now is the certifications, that are the certification program that is starting on June 15, 2020. Because we want something where people can actually get a certificate. Because not everybody will go for a PhD in online education. People just need the basics, the practical side, because everybody's struggling around the world right now, trying to find what to do with their education, because schools are closed down. And so people are looking for something practical, quick, can learn the skill quickly and apply it to our programs so that we can offer online courses. So those are coming up, and we hope that with that, a lot of people will be certified. They will get the skills that they need to design and deliver quality online Adventist education.
That's really, really interesting, especially in our current situation. That's really handy.
Yeah.
Now, what are some of the challenges that one should expect when it comes to online education?
One of the biggest ones, I think, especially on this continent, it's the internet connection. I've been invited to speak in many different platforms around the continent through webinars. And every single time I speak, one of the questions is, what do we do with the internet? And so if people are planning to move online, the first thing, do they have good internet connection on the campus? Because that will be needed to make sure that the programs are running smoothly on the campus side. But the second question, how do the students, the prospective students, access the internet? Do they have, what is the percentage of the students we're targeting that has internet connection? If I would say if the students who can access the internet are like 20%, that is a challenge. That's a challenge. And one of the things that some governments are doing right now is to try to work with the telecommunication companies and see if the telecommunication companies can provide some reduced cost for data bundles. I know here in Kenya that is happening. The Kenyan government has worked with the telecommunication, and they are even giving some free data to educators. At least this is for the universities. I don't know about primary and secondary education, but for university, this is already happening. And I think some other countries in Africa are doing that. It's something new because nobody knew it. So it's not something that everybody will jump on quickly, but it would be nice if all these telecommunication companies could give some kind of access to that. So that is number one. Number two, for Adventist education, people need to be careful not to forget to cater to the spiritual needs of the students. And part of our training in our certificates, we have actually courses on how to design courses that will enhance the spirituality of the students and how to feed your students spiritually when you are teaching online. And so that is something that people should be careful about, because simply going online doesn't mean that people now should not be taken care of spiritually. We need to make sure that it is also addressed. And many other challenges, but those two, I would say they are quite major ones.
Very true. The internet connection problem, that one I think is really something that needs to be attended to.
Yeah.
Now, what role is online education playing with this COVID-19 pandemic? You've talked about it, that everybody's jumping on it. What is its role, and how can we make sure this is part of our future as we carry on after the pandemic?
You know, I want to believe, I stand to be corrected, but I stand to believe that online now has taken a new stage in education that it will not go away anymore. Because now people, you know, at first people were kind of resistant. I know in the early days in 2003 when I joined online, even in the United States, people were kind of, we don't want that. And the quality is questionable. Why? Because people didn't know what they were really doing. But now the field of online education has grown. There's been growth. So now we have theories, models, and best practice methods, and so on. And so are we going to see this continuing? Yes. And so at this point, all of us, all our schools, Adventist schools, we need to embrace it. We need to learn how to do it right. Because if we think we're going to just use it in a common sense, common sense is not enough. It's like asking me to do some engineering project, and I've never taken one course in engineering. It won't work. I can do some common sense, but it will be limited. And so online education, I think, is at this point, it's the only solution to COVID-19 and the lockdowns. It is the only solution. Anyone who does not have online education around the world right now has closed the doors. The students are at home. But the good news for AUA, Adventist University of Africa, because we had already started planning, it took us just 10 days. And we migrated online. Our students are studying. The schedule is going on like without interruption. Students are still on course for their program. And so we want to survive. While this COVID-19 is ongoing, we need to definitely embrace online education.
Oh, that's impressive.
Yeah.
Migrating in 10 days, that was really quick. Now, what is the future of online education at the Adventist University of Africa?
I see our university growing in number of programs being offered online. Once we see how the first programs work, if they are successful, and we are praying hard that they will be, because it's a big help to church workers who cannot leave the mission field to come and spend 2-3 months here. I want to believe that we'll see a growth in the number of courses, programs that we are offering online. And we will continue to work hard towards that. The other thing that is really, really beautiful with the online education is that, you know, we have experts. Adventist experts are limited number usually. We have them scattered around the world. With online education, we can have a professor in Brazil, another one in Ukraine, another one in China, another one in India, another one in South Africa, without them having to fly here. And they will teach quality courses. These are experts that we cannot easily bring, but they can teach for us from wherever they are. And so tapping into this expertise without having to move people where they will have to leave their work and be absent from their work, I think it's such a big blessing from the Lord that it is time for online education. So we'll see an increase, most likely by God's grace, we'll see an increase of number of programs online.
And I'm sure that will save costs for the institution
Big
also.
time.
It will really be helpful because you don't want to be paying for someone to come all the time.
That is correct. That's correct.
That was the future of online education for the university in particular. But what is the future of online education for the entire globe?
Yeah, online will continue to increase. People will embrace online much more because even in places where people are kind of hesitant, not necessarily because they don't have the money or the finances to run that, but because people have misconceptions about online education, especially when people are trying to do it without proper planning and proper expertise. It is true that it will be terrible. That's why we are offering the certification programs, so that people are equipped, they learn how to do it right. So there was a resistance before. But now, with the lockdowns going on around the world, right now, everybody's trying to get online. And so I can expect worldwide that people will be much more open to online education. They will do everything to try to get as many online programs as possible, so that if ever there's any other situation like this, COVID-19, people will be ready to continue delivering education without having to close down their schools. I ran a little poll on how many schools were working online or they had shut down. I have this platform on social media for like 1,200 people from many different countries. And I found somewhere around 70% they closed down completely because they were not ready with the online education. Yeah. And the reason why this platform exists is because they are trying to get information and learning from that so that they can start now preparing for online education. So we'll see an increase in online education and much more acceptance on online education.
That's so true. You know, I studied for one of my qualifications partially online and partially face-to-face, and people would be like, online? What are your final words to the viewers concerning online education? Is it worth it? Is it something credible? Is it something real? Because there's this tendency to think that if it's online, it's not good enough. What are your final words to the viewers?
I would say online education, when it is well designed, it is excellent. I didn't want to bring this up, but I will for the sake of the viewers. My first doctorate was face-to-face, 100% face-to-face. Maybe only one class was online. After that, that's the time this online was coming up, and I said, let me do a PhD, another doctorate online. No offense to my first university. It's very well known and has a lot of things that they're doing. But when I looked at the quality of content that I received online, it was much higher than what I received face-to-face. One of the things that I love doing is writing books. I write a lot of books. And I can tell you that the passion for my writing and the skills in writing books came from my online program, not the face-to-face one. And yet the face-to-face, I was really very, very much impressed with that. But when I took the online, because it was in the hands of people who are experts in online education, because it was a PhD in online education. So that's where the people who write all these textbooks for online education, that's where they were teaching. And so they did the very best that they could. And so if the online education is prepared well, it can be actually better than face-to-face. Why? Because when you take an online course, it is open 24 hours. So you have no limit of time. But when we're studying face-to-face, guess what? We have 2 hours for one class or an hour. And after that, hey, it's time, we're going home. And that's the end of that learning. But online, you learn 24 hours. Nobody can stop you to spend as much time as you want to study online. And so personally, I have that bias that actually online education is better than face-to-face if it is done well. And that's the reason why you should come and join our certification program so that you can do it well and you will enhance the quality of your online programs.
Thank you so much, Dr. Wa-Mbaleka, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you for the insights on online education and for the assurance that if it's done well, it's really even much better. Thank you, viewers, for your time. And there you go. Come to AUA and study online. Thank you for your time.